How to install Windows 2003 Enterprise Server presented by Stefan Nguyen. This is what we're going to use, VMware Workstations. Just click on New Virtual Machines and then choose Typical Setting. Just click Next. And you can choose Mount to the CD-ROM or from an ISO folders, and I would choose it to do it later. Just click Next. And there's tons of options that you can use to install the operating system. For this purpose, I'm going to install Windows operating systems. Otherwise, you can choose Linux, Novell, Sun Solaris, or if you want to do a demo version of VMware ESX, you can do that as well. What I'm going to do is choose Windows 2003 Enterprise for this point, and then click Next. And you can choose a virtual machine name. So for this demo, I'm going to choose Gold 01. So I can clone this later and then rename it to something else. And for the location where I can store this VMware VMs, I'm going to choose the different drives and locations. So I'm going to create a folder name for this. So click Browse. And I'm going to browse to my drive. Now I'm going to do something else. Going to G drive and then create a folder name called Virtual Machines. And then click OK. And then just backslash and then the virtual machine name. And then click Next. You don't need to have 40 gig for testing. This is 2003 server, so it should be good for 10 or 12 gig. That's fine. You know what? I'm going to use something else, 15, in case I need to load something else. And just click Next. Or you can have it to split into 2 gigabit files or a single files. For this purpose, I'm going to choose a single file and click Next. And here's the summaries of the settings that you just went through. Usually I just go customize the hardware to remove the floppy disk, the sound card, and the USB controller. Those you don't need for virtual machines. First I'm going to change the memory to 1 gig. You can change whatever you want. And for the CD-ROM, you need to mount to the ISO file where you want to be installed. So I'm going to browse to my ISO Windows 2003 Enterprise folder. And that is, so I just mount it and then just remove the floppy, the USB controller, and the sound card. Now in case you want to add additional NIC cards or the hard drives or any other hardware devices, click on the add button. And there's an options for you to select the hardware types and then click Next. It will add. Just go through the process. I just show you how to do it, okay? But I don't want to add additional hard drives or NIC cards at this point. So just click OK. So that's the creations of the virtual machines. Now you need to power on the virtual machines to start the installations. So just click on Power on the Virtual Machine link, and this will boot up the machines and then start going through the regular installations. I assume that some of you should be, understand how to do the basic installations. So I'm going to do a quick installations here. Windows Setup is loading up the menu options. Once it's done, just go through the wizard. Alright, here's welcome to the setup. You have 3 options. One is to press enter to start the installation, press R to do a recovery console, or press F3 to quit. What I'm going to do is press enter to continue. And then this will load up the license agreement. Just scroll down or up to see it. If you agree to it, press F8 to continue. And here's your partition space. You can create a new partitions, delete existing partitions, or run an installation on top of the partitions. In this case, I'm going to press C to start the creation of the partition. So press C. And if you want to change to different space for the C drive, you can do that. You can specify within that blank space right there in megabyte. For this purpose, I'm going to use all the 15 gig space. So press enter, and there's a blank space that you don't care. You're going to scroll up to C drive partition 1 where it said new and raw. Select that and then press enter. That's where it will be formatted. And then there's 4 choices to format, either FAT or NTFS file systems. I'm going to choose the NTFS file systems, but in that case, I'm going to choose the quick options. This way, it's going to speed up the format process. So setup is going to format right now, so all you have to do is wait until it's completed. Once it's completed, it's going to copy files across. Setup is copying files 2%. Once it's 100%, it will start loading the installation Windows wizard. So all you do is interact with the wizard and fill in the informations you needed. Right now it's going to installing Windows phase right now, and it has like 39 minutes left. So I'm going to pause the videos until it's close to the input, and then we can resume. Alright, here you can start the Windows setup. First thing is regional and language options. Just click next. You need to enter the name and then your organization, and then click next. Here's where you need to insert your product key if you have them. If not, just request a try version and then click next. And here's the licensing modes. If you use per server, and choose per server. If not, choose per device or per user. For this demo purpose, so I'm going to choose per server and then click next. Here you can change the computer name and then the administrator password so you can log in later. For this purpose, I'm going to use gold01 and then my password, and then reconfirm and then click next. And here you can change the time date settings. We are in Eastern time zone, so I'm going to change that and click next. And this will take a while. All you have to do is when it's prompt for input, just click on it and enter the information as needed. If not, click next. Just networking options. You can choose the typical settings or custom settings. It depends on what you want to do. For this purpose, typical settings fine. So I'm going to click next. And here's the workgroup and computer domain. If you want to join to existing domain, then you can choose the bottom options. Yes, make this computer a member of the following domain and type it in. If not, just choose the workgroup. That's what I'm going to use. So I'm going to click next. Alright, I'm going to pause the video for a minute. And setup is still finalizing the installation, so watch through the screen and you should be finishing it shortly. Once it's completed, it will reboot the server, and then it's going to apply the settings, and then all you have to do is log in with the computer account credentials that we created earlier. And that's it for today's tutorials. This is how to install Windows 2003 server, and this is the first steps. And you can follow the other series in the blog for advanced features and configurations. And once again, thank you for joining in.